Barry.
Manchester City first out, and when Chelsea reach the field, which they have done now, they will be sporting a new player, number 12, Paul Cannaville, who, as you heard from Tony Gubba, has come on in place of Joey Jones, which will obviously require some reshuffling by Chelsea. And their player coach John Hollings was telling me before the game that should there be a recurrence of Jones's hamstring injury, then they had a couple of options. Mickey Thomas could go to left back, or more likely John Bumstead, and that indeed seems to be what's happening, with Bumstead going to that side of the field. Manchester City will kick off then, having had most goal attempts in a first half that was remarkably free of free kicks, only 9 given for fouls. A further tribute to referee Saunders, who, as Jimmy and Bobby mentioned at half-time, certainly showed a willingness to keep the game moving. For anyone who may just have come in, we're watching this important match at the top of the second division between Manchester City, who need 3 points, all 3 points, to stay in with a hope of promotion, against Chelsea, who are looking for 3 points to boost their bid for the championship. Chelsea are in the shirts with the light hoops, defending the goal to our left. Baker. Well, it's a good first-time effort by Baker, which took a deflection. At least he has claimed it has, and I must say I've got some sympathy with the City players. Then Paul Power went across and questioned the linesman. It seemed to deflect, but a goal kick has been given. Who's gone up front, gets a quick touch. Speedy has dropped back into midfield to fill the hole left by Bumstead, going to left back, and here's Power, offside. Told me it was offside as Power lifted it forward, and would seem to disagree. Bond's clearance. Spackman back on. Here's Speedy. Cannaville. Speedy. Played it in towards Dixon, who couldn't quite get a touch. Certainly a formidable front three that Chelsea have, which Alex Williams has to face in this second half. Speedy having moved back into midfield, leaving Dixon up front with Cannaville. And of course Nevin on the right. Here's Ransom. Smith in a good position. He couldn't keep it in. McCarthy clear. Bumstead forward. McCarthy's there again. City sold Tommy Caton to Arsenal and got McCarthy for only half the fee. He hasn't missed a game since, and he's been a very good investment. Power took his eye off the ball then. Wilson didn't. Lee climbing. Parley. Lee overhitting the back pass. And Nijveski failing to keep it in. anxiety perhaps shown by Colin Lee. Switched to right back around about Christmas time when player coach John Hollins stepped down. Must be a forward, of course, with Spurs, Lee. And the corner played to the wrong part of the penalty area as far as City were concerned. Here's Cannaville. Foul by Power. I must say, although they may lose defensively from Joey Jones' departure, they'll certainly gain in an attacking sense from the arrival of Cannaville, who's big and strong and has got plenty of pace and isn't afraid to shoot. Nevin. Free kick given. Oops, and a little unpleasantness right beneath the gaze of the referee, with Andy May just flicking out at Nevin.
Absolutely right, Matt. Just as it used to be in the old days. A little talking to and on with the game.
I think everyone's been impressed by Mr. Saunders tonight. And he won't let people have any nonsense about stealing a yard or two at free kicks either. Lee's little lob, Nevin got the header, Bond clear. Speedy. Wilson's been impressive tonight. Wilson clear again. Foul was by Dixon on Bond. Now McCarthy for Manchester City. Baker dropping deep. Feeding Ranson. Tolmie with it. Tried to find May, but Thomas intercepted. Here's Nevin. Bumstead forward to Dixon. Oh, a lovely first-time ball. Cannaville is in the centre here. Nevin could go alone, though. Still got it. Thomas. McCarthy. Baker finally hooks it clear. Smith. Well, the Scots certainly know how to play with the football, don't they? We've seen Nevin and now Smith displaying fine skills. And here's another Scot, Tolmie. Ranson's on his outside. And just deflected behind by Bumstead for the corner. But the second half coming to life with two fine moments of skill. It was a great ball by Dixon, which set Nevin clear. And then at the other end, Smith forging an opening for Manchester City. McCarthy coming in, it hit Lee in the end, and hooked well over the top by Parlay. And nonetheless, his top scorer with 19 goals for Manchester City this season. Did he know where it was, Smith? Lee did. Nevin forward. McCarthy. Intelligent throw. Tate's moving into the space. McCarthy intercepted though. Here's Pates once more, but May robbing him. Tolmie. 50-50 ball that was, but McCarthy got a foot in first. But again, the hustling of the Chelsea players, not just the midfield players, but also the forwards, constantly chase the defender in possession. Pates clearance. Cannaville. Thomas. Effervescent player, Thomas. Speedy. Wilson defending well against Nevin. Got to the ball first. Here's Dixon. He did well to make a cross. Cannaville and McCarthy. And calm defending by Mick McCarthy. Dixon doing well in a tight space to set up the opening. Here's Thomas. Speedy. Well, saw the opening and obviously worth a shot, but the direction was somewhat astray. McLaughlin climbing well. Here's Baker for Manchester City. Bond. Smith. Now McCarthy. Lee just allowing the ball to go over the line, knowing that it was to be a Chelsea throw. Good atmosphere here tonight. The City fans still believing their team can make it into the First Division. Newcastle and Grimsby, their chief opponents, with Chelsea and Sheffield Wednesday already promoted, of course. But a win tonight is the minimum that City must achieve. Here's Baker. Cannaville made it hard for Ranson. Thomas equally making it hard for May, who brought him down. Chelsea's free kick. Certainly been an entertaining game and one that's held the attention throughout. And a goal now would just put the icing on the cake. Takes forward for McLaughlin. Met by McCarthy. Baker on. And here he is again. Parlay, foul by Pates. Referee wasn't happy that the free kick was taken correctly. Tolmie, Thomas intercepting. How often have we said that tonight? And getting clear of Tolmie, who brings him down in spectacular fashion. Frustration as much as anything then on the part of Jim Tolmie, who was beaten whilst in possession by Thomas. And Chelsea have a lot of men forward for the free kick. Baker. Nice touch by Smith. But Cannaville, they've covered an awful lot of ground to get back into that position. Just signed a new 3-year contract with Chelsea. Here's Bond for Manchester City. Ranson on the right. Thomas across to cover him. And it was the sheer presence of Mickey Thomas that forced Ranson to knock that rather clumsy ball back in. McCarthy forward. Lee's header. McCarthy again. Fine ball. Ranson. Bumstead in front of him. Thomas there to cover. Now Thomas will feel that he took the ball in that sliding tackle. I must say it seemed that way to me. But the referee has given the free kick to Manchester City. Smith chipped it in, and it came off Parlane for a goal kick. We've got half an hour remaining. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. And the point apiece, really, as Jimmy Hill was saying before the kick-off, not of a great deal of use to either side, certainly not to Manchester City anyway. And Chelsea, knowing that they have a leeway to make up between they and Sheffield Wednesday, also need to win. They have never, incidentally, won the Second Division Championship, interestingly enough. On the previous 5 occasions Chelsea have been promoted, it was always achieved as runners-up. Here's Baker. May. And still May. And still, well, he almost did a Nevin then, shall we say, wearing the same number. And as Bumstead took it away from him, showing the same kind of skills. He's had a good season, Andy May. The only outfield player in this City team who's appeared in every game this season. McCarthy coming to meet it. And again, he didn't really get the power he would have wished for. Just scored the 1 goal since coming from Barnsley in December. Incidentally, he's gone on record as saying that although he was born in England, he would like to play for the Republic of Ireland, given an international opportunity. His father comes from Waterford, and I would think Owen Hand, the Republic's manager, will take note of that fact. And there's McCarthy winning it again. Power for Manchester City. Brought down by Thomas, who will have a little finger wagging, I think, from the referee. Shakes hands with Paul Power. Not likely to endear himself to the City fans. First and foremost, he used to play for Manchester United. That's bad enough without bringing City players down. Wilson. Lee clear. McCarthy under pressure from Dixon right behind him. And how well he did. Well, the fans certainly enjoying their particular match. Trying to outshout each other. A fair contingent from Chelsea here too. Smith's little flick. Lee collects with ease. McCarthy, how strong he is when the ball's above the deck. It's a Manchester City throw, although Chelsea claimed otherwise. McCarthy. Over McCarthy's head this time. Nevin with Wilson, he's got round him. Will he try one from here? What a superb goal by Nevin. An individualist goal, and he's quick to urge those Chelsea fans who want to come onto the pitch to stay off. Many players might not have tried a shot from here. Nevin did, in off the post. 1-0 to Chelsea. And sadly, a handful of fans didn't take notice of Nevin, who immediately, instead of celebrating the goal, told the supporters to go on. What a lovely moment for him, because he showed what an intelligent footballer he is, and what an intelligent man as well.
And I just noticed the referee there commending him on it. He went across and said, well done. That helped a lot.
64 minutes gone, and Nevin has given Chelsea the lead, but here's Smith for Manchester City. And it nearly crept in a similar fashion off the far post. Good effort by Smith, along the ground all the way, and a shade away from that post. It's Nevin's 12th goal of the season. He's got about a year to go on his contract. He came down from Scotland and has made an immediate impact on the second division and will, I'm sure, make a similar impact on the first.
What I like about him particularly, not only can he dribble, what I like about that particularly, not only can he dribble, Alan, but he also can release the ball at the right moment. He's a complete footballer. He can pass too, as well as score.
Indeed he can, as Dixon clashes with McCarthy. Baker under a bit of pressure and reacted angrily as Spackman caught him accidentally, I think. Wilson. Here's Bond. Tolmie, Thomas in again. Must be a nightmare to play against Mickey Thomas. You never have room to breathe. Here's Speedy. Chelsea leading 1-0. Lee. In it goes towards Cannaville, but Williams always favourite to get there first. But again, Thomas wins it back. Here's Nevin once more. Buzz of excitement whenever he gets the ball. Manchester City will feel unlucky to have gone a goal down. They created a lot of openings prior to Nevin's goal. There's Parlane looking for another, but Tate's clear. Here's May. And the interception by Speedy. Only Dixon forward for him. Dixon holding it up well. Speedy. Thomas wants it. Here he is. Lee. Ran out of room, really, to make a telling forward ball. Power, the City captain. Wilson. May. Tate's clear, straight to Smith though. And Nevin back as a defending midfield player as well. He's enjoying this, you can tell. Bumstead. Marvellous to see a player so obviously enjoying his football and the skills that he's been blessed with. Ranson clear. Smith. Midway through the second half, it's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. And just to remind you once again, as Wilson turns away from Dixon, that City must win this game to have any hope of promotion. Tolmie. Baker. McCarthy. In went Bumstead. They've grown in confidence since that goal, have Chelsea. That's a nice little flick, but Bumstead read it. McCarthy to try the long throw then. Oh, and it came off Lee's head. Corner to Manchester City. McCarthy coming in again, but Lee reached it. Baker straight under it and deflected away by Lee, I think it was, for another corner. McLaughlin's clearance. Smith again. Struck it straight against the Chelsea man. It was Speedy. Free kick given to Chelsea. Dixon the target here. Cannaville. Oh yes, Speedy. Dixon. What a fantastic goal. Well, that was perfection. Cannaville with the most delightful ball to Speedy, right through the legs of Wilson. Speedy lost no time in knocking it in, and Dixon rising to knock the ball into the corner of the net for his 33rd goal of the season. Three marvellous pieces of skill. Speedy with the cross, and the header firmly planted in. 70 minutes gone, Manchester City 0, Chelsea 2. As good a goal, as far as the build-up is concerned, as you'll see this season. And there isn't long of it to go. Jimmy.
That was quite beautiful, it really was. We talk about the absence of skill in football, and we wonder where it is in the England team. This is in the second division, and there were three combined moves from the Chelsea team there that would grace any football pitch in the world. Delightful, perfect skill, played at just the right time, and a marvellous finish.
And off go Chelsea.
And there they go again. They're on top now, and they're on song.
And they fight and they contest for every ball. Anyone who might doubt that they would not keep going full pelt for the rest of this season will surely have had those doubts removed now. They've still to play Barnsley at home and Grimsby away. They want the title, make no mistake about that. And I know as a football club they want people to talk about the ability of their team rather than the bad behaviour of some of their fans. They'll be talking about their team tonight. But Manchester City looking to get back into the game. Tate's clearance. Here's May. Baker. Ranson on the right. Wilson. Here's Bond. Calling players towards him. Here's Baker again. McLaughlin clear. Cannaville's got pace here. And he certainly made it hard for McCarthy, who, well, used all his physical prowess, shall we say, to hold him off. Quite within the rules. Oh, Lee. Well, at the second bite, he got it clear. Wilson. Here's Bond. Smith. Running out of room for the cross. Power takes over. Looked for Tolmie, but curled it much too high. And Billy McNeil must surely accept now the promotion has gone. Cannaville. Parlane. Here's Baker with Ranson free on the right. And gets the deflection for the corner. When Manchester City kicked off tonight, they knew that a win would give them 69 points. That would still be 4 less than Newcastle. We're at home to Derby tomorrow, and if Newcastle win that match tomorrow, then they would have won promotion anyway, but they surely will now. Grimsby might argue with that still. Let's not forget them. "16 minutes remaining for Manchester City to try and change the scoreline." Cleared by Dixon. Here's Ranson. And as much as City press forward now looking for a goal, they will leave themselves open to the pace of Chelsea's counter-attacks. You get a feeling that the goal scoring isn't over yet. May. Curled just too far for power. Kerry Dixon's remarkable season, given a further chapter by that goal, his 33rd of the season, 27 of them in the league. And remember, he's only just stepped up from 3rd to 2nd division football. I wonder what impact he'll make on the 1st. 15 minutes to go. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 2. Smith for City. Takes clear to Cannaville. Nice little header, Nevin. Wilson's followed him from one end of the field to the other. And for a young man, can be well pleased with what he's done tonight. He's still going and finding Parlane. Well, Bumstead covering equally well. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 2. McCarthy beaten by Dixon, Cannaville onto it. And allows it to run for a corner. Speedy quickly in. Tolmie. Here's Ransom. Power on a run forward, but played much too firmly for him. Now Speedy. Cannaville against Wilson. And May. Speedy. Dixon forward. Well, that was rather wild. Here's Baker. Tolmie's layoff to Ransom. Though Manchester City look as though they're going to have to wait another season to win promotion, no one can doubt that this is a setup, and certainly a stadium and support worthy of a place in the top flight. And they'll be amongst the favourites to be frontrunners for promotion next season, you can be sure. Wilson forward. But Pates, Bumstead rather, with a firm header clear. Here's Baker. Spotted Ransom on the right. Smith. Tolmie. Here's Cannaville. Oh, he just tried to dummy Kevin Bond, who was not about to be fooled so easily. McCarthy. Slicing it straight to Dixon. Cannaville. McCarthy just making up for a defensive error. Here's Parlane, nice layoff. May. Smith, Lee with the interception. Lee again. Baker in. Here's Wilson. McCarthy spreading it to Ransom. Manchester City looking for some kind of consolation. They lost at Derby last week and at home to Huddersfield in the match prior to that. And this third defeat would write off their promotion hopes if it comes to that. And would also give, incidentally, Chelsea their 15th game in a row without defeat. Tolmie rather unnecessarily bringing Thomas down. McCarthy clear, although Nevin presumably had drifted offside. The free kick given to Manchester City. Chelsea fans in full song now. then beats Smith. Spatman with a rather strange clearance, which results in an unexpected corner for Manchester City. A little more than 10 minutes to go then for Manchester City to try and get back into the game. They trail 2-0. Here's May. Looked for the top angle, but his shot was always drifting wide. So, Jimmy, Chelsea looking as though they're on their way to 3 points and on their way to a First Division that will welcome them in more senses than one, I think.
Well, I think so. We don't want to talk about the hooligan element. That's the only worry, I think, of the First Division, really. But as a team, they're very attractive, and the chairman said to them before the game, go out and show millions of people that you can really play, and they've certainly done that this evening. We've enjoyed it here, and I hope everybody has at home. And it is such a pity that only a few people spoil the wonderful things, really, that Chelsea have done.
Two quite splendid goals they've scored as well, and one man who's made so much difference to Chelsea this season, their player coach John Hollins. Remember, this time a year ago they were almost relegated into the 3rd division. Hollins has arrived and really sparked a tremendous revival, and managed to get in 30-odd games himself at right back earlier in the season. Free kick to Manchester City. Power hammering it in, and away by Spatman. Smith, Pates right behind him, and it came off Pates for another corner. Study of concentration. Derek Parlane waiting for the corner to come in. Well, it was a fine effort by Bond, who climbed higher than anyone else, but as he headed the ball downwards, didn't get much power behind it, and Nijveski able to go down on the line and save with ease. Wilson clear. Instead away, only as far as Smith. Thomas chasing him. Renson. And once again, Chelsea had the covering player. And May seems to have hurt his ankle in that challenge for possession a moment or two earlier. Seven minutes of the game to go then. Chelsea leading 2-0. McCarthy for Manchester City. This is Ranson. They ideally like to give their fans a goal to remember tonight, Manchester City, even though it would surely now be too late to rescue the points. Here's Thomas. Wilson. Now they've got an extra man here, Chelsea. Cannaville. It's 3 against 3 at the moment, because City are quickly getting power back. Dixon and Nevin in the middle for Cannaville. Well, that was such a poor shot, I'm afraid, that it's actually gone out for a throw-in. Scored 7 goals this season, though, Cannaville, and scored after coming on as a substitute last week against Leeds. And May, with a recurrence of that, seems to be an ankle problem. David Johnson is the Manchester City substitute if needed. They are the Chelsea fans, and let us say, because enough bad has been said about them in recent months, that they have been impeccably behaved tonight. Just a dozen or so tried to come onto the pitch when Nevin scored his first goal, and they were waved away by the man himself. They'll certainly bring some big crowds, both home and away, to the First Division, will Chelsea. And I think they'll bring some entertaining football too. They are a good side to watch. Here's Thomas. Speedy. Lee. Speedy's continued his run. Oh, yes. Well, he was unlucky. He tried a little back heeler. May intercepted. Here's Power, the Manchester City skipper. They worked so hard as well, Chelsea, to win the ball back. Wilson. Linesman has flagged offside against Parlane. Dixon up with McCarthy. Speedy, he's had a good game. Thomas. Speedy again. This time Baker read it. Lee. Speedy. Well, he got round Wilson, who just left a leg in the way, and caught the Chelsea man. Certainly intentional, though nothing vicious about it, but it just caught Speedy as Manchester City about to make their substitution. May still injured, and so for the moment is Speedy as well. About 4 minutes to go for David Johnson to make some impact on this game. May comes off. David Johnson, the former Ipswich, Liverpool and Everton player, comes on. Certainly, critics have looked at Chelsea's play this season and said, well, defensively, are they equipped to survive in the First Division? That remains to be seen, but one thing can be said, they attack with such relish and such accuracy that they'll score a lot of goals. I'm sure of that. Three minutes remaining. They've scored 2 tonight that look about to collect 3 points for them in their bid to overhaul Sheffield Wednesday and become Second Division champions. Here's Speedy. And it was calm, but Chelsea fighting hard again to win it back. And Nevin kept that in. The whole play stopped for a moment, thinking the ball had gone out. And Johnson's first moment of contact is to be brought down and cause a moment of unpleasantness with Lee. That must have been frustrating, I suppose, sitting on the bench for 80-odd minutes. And as soon as you come on, somebody whacks you from behind. And Johnson tries to get his own back with Lee in that collision, and for a moment it's getting rather silly. Tolmie and McLaughlin clashing. The referee will calm that down. Calm things down, he says. Just a couple of minutes to go. It would be pointless to spoil what has been a good spectacle and a fine advertisement for Second Division football. Nevin looking for space. Cannaville. McCarthy beats him to it, and here's Ranson. Still time for City to give their fans something to cheer. Johnson, always eager. Pates is with him. Johnson again, with Ranson. In towards Baker. Smith going for it, and a goal kick. It came off Baker. It looks as though Manchester City are on their way to their 5th home defeat, and significantly amongst the teams that have won here are Sheffield Wednesday and Newcastle. Now Chelsea going to join that trio, and of course they're all clubs who have been rivals for promotion, and it's certainly at home, as Billy McNeil will tell you, where City have faltered on their way to a promotion bid. screaming with the ball, but Power chooses to go down the line, which was the wrong decision. But here's Wilson. Now McCarthy, Baker. Good movement by Manchester City, but they've had to go back again to the halfway line. And that's the end of a match that will have been seen as the perfect endorsement of Manchester City's right to be up near the promotion candidates, but even more significantly, Chelsea's right to go into the First Division. City had some moments in the first half when they might have scored, but Nevin it was, just going down the tunnel there, who turned the game Chelsea's way with that fine individual goal. John Neal, the manager, Colin Lee just behind him, on their way back to the dressing room, knowing that promotion is assured. That was certain a week ago, but knowing also that the championship is now within their reach as well. Nevin it was who sent them on the way. Dixon with a quite spectacular goal, the end of a lovely build-up, making it 2. Manchester City will have to wait another season, but Chelsea are on their way to the First Division. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 2.